We're doing it. We're doing it. We made it happen again. Right? How special is that? Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Good to see everybody. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, Jesus? How are you? Good to see you. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend. What's up, Karen? Good to see you. What's up, Josh? Missed you too, buddy. What's up, Karen? Hit that like button. Jesus says it. I love it. Lucy says good morning as well, by the way. Right? She's just chilling. It's pretty cool. Hey, Ron, did the hand-painted t-shirt find a happy home? Yes. I've worn it on the show before. And it's in my closet. I will wear it again. What's up, James? Welcome. Glad you could be here. Dan, I want to know what's going on today. Me too. That's what we're going to find out. We got some breaking news. We got some election talk. We got some climate talk. And it's Monday, so we got some frickin' music talk, which we'll start there as soon as we get 30 up in here. Hi, how are you, Mike S? How's it going, Lucy? You good? She got was Elizabeth... I don't know what that's in referring to. Sorry, Tim, I don't know what that means. Hey, Ron, how was the Misfits? The Misfits were awesome. The Misfits were awesome. We're going to talk about it, actually. We are going to talk about it. That'll be the Music Monday topic today. Because, yeah, it was very cool. All right. People are loading in slow today. Steve says, hit the like it's on fire and full of cannabis. Yes, please do that. Although if something was on fire and full of cannabis, I would be worried that, oh shit, all that cannabis is being burned. Greetings. Took a break from Turtles in Time. Is that where the Ninja Turtles time travel? If so, I'm very flattered. Thank you. I'm very, very flattered. Because that's quite the show. That is quite the show. Oh, it's a video game. All right. Still flattering. Still flattering. Ryan says in Hong Kong they're firing tear gas. Well, they're also doing that in France. We're for sure going to talk about France. And it says there's only 15 here. And guys, I'll let you know this before we get started here. I am potentially going to be switching to a new kind of way of streaming soon, and it's gonna kind of make the outlay, the look of this show is gonna be a little different, I think for the better. I've been experimenting with a new service because I know we've been having some issues. We've been having some issues with the video lagging. We've been having some issues with autofocus on this camera. And I don't think it's a camera thing. I think it's an OBS thing. I've been trying to figure it out. And I'm supposed to get a video person in here to try to help me out, try to break it down for me, because I haven't been able to pinpoint things. And that should be happening this week. I'm also upping my internet game this week. So I'm getting... this will actually be the last show, as long as everything goes as planned. This will be the last show with the current internet that I have. I am getting a huge internet upgrade, which I'm extremely excited about. Still fighting for municipal broadband, but in the meantime, I gotta just make sure I can get the best internet I can get here. So I looked at a couple deals and I was like, you know what? Just give me the big package. Just do it. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm pretty stoked about it. And yeah, I'm going to be kind of changing the way I do things here. We might be switching up. Has anyone else heard the Mr. Tony Tig song from Bernie's rally? I have not, but send it to me. Send it to me, and it can be the song of the day. So yeah, that's some news here. And I think what I'm going to do, you guys, I think I'm going to do like a test stream. Like I'm going to do a test stream with the new thing so we can all see how we like it. Because, yeah, this is just... OBS has been giving me some issues, and yeah, I'm working on fixing it. Because I know we've been having some issues here. And I think the chat froze on me. Yep, sure did. All right. All right, so I am out of the chat. Let me try to get back in here. And yeah, this is why I think I'm going to be switching up soon. Right here is why. I know, Lucy, right? All right, and I'm back. And we are over 30. What's up, everybody? All right. Lady, you like my t-shirt. I got this t-shirt from Fight for the Future. Yeah, I got this t-shirt from Fight for the Future. Okay. And we are at 35. Awesome. We have officially begun. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Sorry, I got booted out of the chat there for a little bit. Lucy says meow. She's been chilling this whole time. Let's see if she makes it through the entire show. That'll be our hope. She makes it through the entire show. So, first of all, it's Music Monday, and this weekend, I saw the original Misfits. Jerry Only was there. Glenn Danzig was there. When the fact that Danzig was there, that's the reason why it was in a big stadium and not just in a little rock club. For anyone who doesn't know who the Misfits are, The Misfits are arguably the first horror punk band. They started in the 70s, and they've been around pretty much forever, but once their singer, Glenn Danzig, who of course went on to form Danzig and Sam Hain, once he left, they kind of just... they were kind of just a different band, and were not quite the same. Well, they have reunited. They're not doing extensive touring, but they're doing some shows here and there. Glenn Danzig lives in LA. I don't know if the rest of the band does, but I know that Glenn Danzig himself does live in LA. Or at least he did. I heard somewhere that he sold his house. So, but, I mean, he might still live in LA, just in a different place. Who knows? But anyway, they've been doing some shows around. They did a show in LA Saturday night, and man, it was pretty cool. So, I wasn't sure what to expect. I know they're not the biggest fans of each other. There have been lawsuits in regards to this band. In fact, this whole reunion actually, I think, spawned from a lawsuit. I'm pretty sure Danzig felt like Jerry Only and everyone else was getting too much of the merchandise. He felt like that wasn't fair. So they kind of worked out. They're like, well, why don't we just get back together? Give the fans what they want, give them some shows. And they were able to work that out, which is pretty cool. I'm happy about it, because I never thought I would see the Misfits in my lifetime. And by the Misfits, I mean the original band. I really, I'm one of those people, and I know I'm not alone, because again, when the Misfits were just touring around in their current inception without Danzig, they were playing like rock clubs and stuff like that, which is great and fine. But when they add Danzig to the equation, they're playing stadiums. So my point is, I know I'm not alone when I say I had no desire to see the Misfits if Danzig wasn't there. So I got to see them, and I gotta say, for maybe the first time in my life, I heard every single song I really wanted to hear. There were some Misfits songs I knew that they didn't play, but they weren't songs where I was like, oh, they didn't play that. Every single song I really wanted, they played. And I was not expecting that, but I guess, when you're a band and you're playing songs from a certain era, and all of your songs are about 90 seconds to 2 minutes long, that's easier to do when you're playing a stadium show, which I'm sure if you would have told the Misfits 40 years ago they'd be playing a stadium show, they would have laughed at you. It's so crazy to think. I mean, when I went to the Beach Blitz show in Huntington Beach, Mike Ness from Social Distortion at one point was just like, none of us could have seen this coming. Like, he was very sincere. He was just like, none of us could have ever seen this coming. Like meaning, when you're doing punk rock, I mean, Steve Davis, when Steve Davis from the US Bombs was on this show, he's like, it was just something to do. It was just a hobby. Because Steve's been playing since 77. They're like, none of us thought this was going to happen. None of us thought we'd ever be playing stadium. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And in many ways, pretty beautiful. But, so anyway, eventually they kind of threw the set list to the wind and just started shouting out songs. Like, Glenn Danzig was just like, we're not worried about the set list. We're just going to be playing songs. What do you guys want to hear? People were yelling for songs. And the song of the day, I gotta say, because obviously I gotta pick a Misfits tune here. Oh, wait, quick story before I do that. At one point, there was a fight. Not cool. I don't like fights. No one does. Well, some people do. But I don't, and most people don't. I'd like to think. But there was a fight, and it was right near me, and they actually fell a couple rows down. So this is stadium seating. I was pretty high up, all right? I did not have, like, the closest seats in the world. I went for the cheap seats. But I'm up in peanut heaven, and a fight breaks out a little over from me. Same row, but a little ways over from me. And they actually go falling down. So they started falling down rows of people. At first, I thought that somebody made a really bad stage diving decision. Or crowd surfing decision, rather, because they weren't anywhere close to the stage, but a really bad crowd surfing decision, and decided, I'm just going to jump into this crowd of these people who are sitting down because our seats are far away, and it's like, that was not smart. Then I saw another person on top of that person throwing fists, so I realized, oh shit, a fight broke out. And apparently, So the people near us got a better glimpse of it than my fiance and my buddy did. And they said apparently what happened was there were 4 people involved. It was 2 girls who were the girlfriends or wives or whatever of the 2 dudes who were there. And the 2 girls were arguing. At first, it looked like the dudes were trying to defuse it, like trying to separate them. But then, I guess one dude hit the other dude, and then they both went flying. Apparently, that's what happened. So they go flying over these people. Unfortunately, they knocked a few people kind of hard, because these people were just sitting there, and then these bodies just flew on top of them. And after that happened, they just kept continuing. They kept just throwing fists. Other people were like trying to move out of the way, wondering what the hell's going on. They're throwing fists everywhere. Then other people jump in, try to break it up. And a bunch of people are standing up at this point looking at it. And I turn around and I go, there is like no security anywhere here. And then I was instantly embarrassed. That was the equivalent. And everybody just kind of looked at me like, dude, no. And I was like, oh, man. And now, granted, it's not like that was like my old man moment. That was just my total lame-o moment. Because, this is a Misfits show. There were people ranging from 20 to 60 at this show and everything in between. So it's not like I was old-timer Magoo by any means. But I totally said that. I was like, there is like no security there. Which is the equivalent of saying like, this music is too loud. Can't they turn the amplifiers down a little bit? I would enjoy the show just as much a few volumes later. It's like, what the hell, dude? Come on. But I actually said that. I wasn't thinking, because there was no security anywhere. Like, a fight breaks out, and there was, like, no security anywhere to break this thing up. People ended up breaking it up. The craziest part was that they were secure as hell when we went in. They were ridiculous. They had this policy that, like, small purses weren't permitted. So I had to check my purse. No, I don't carry a purse, but my fiance does. She had to check her purse. And it was a small purse that she takes to shows all the time. But they had this super strict purse policy. So we had to go check her purse. And by the way, we weren't alone. There were tons of people in the same situation. Where they had to check their bags, they had to check their purses. This one person, her and her friends must have ridden to the show on like motorcycles or motorbikes or something like that. They had on these bike helmets. Not only were they not allowed to bring those bike helmets in, or just kind of like check them somewhere easier, they had to check them in this one particular place. There was one place where everybody had to check their stuff, and they made the person pay $10 for each helmet. So that was I felt bad for them. That was kind of shitty. But anyway, so we had to wait in this long line. And then there was like all these levels of security. They were super strict about what had to go on the metal thing and what you could hold. Like they told me to like hold my jacket. Even though I like volunteered. I was like, here's my jacket. They were like, no, hold that. But the phone and the wallet. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And like at one point I'm in the line. I was like, do you guys think we're getting on a plane? Like what the fuck is this? So anyway, it was incredibly secure getting into the place. Then a fight breaks out, and security's nowhere to be found. So I made that comment and immediately looked like the lamest dude at that frickin' show. But the song of the day, Bullitt by the Misfits. Why Bullitt? Because Bullitt's one of my favorite Misfits songs. I was not expecting them to play it. But then Glenn Danzig, because again, they abandoned the set list. Glenn was asking for requests, Glenn Danzig, and somebody, I guess he heard Bullitt, because he goes, you guys want to hear Bullitt? And I was like, oh shit, they're going to play Bullitt. And they frickin' did. And that was the big song that I didn't think they would play, that I was really hoping for. That or Eagles Dare. Those were the two. I was not super expecting them to play it, but I was so thrilled that they did. Bullitt was the biggest. That's a little more, I don't know if I'd say it's an obscure Misfits song, but it's a little, not as prominently known Misfits song. And I guess Lucy's kind of over. She's like, I know Danzig's a cat lover, but whatever. So anyway, Bullitt, Misfits, song of the day, because they rocked it. They're doing some dates around. If you get a chance, if you're a Misfits fan, go see them. Because, let's be honest, they don't get along well. This might be your only chance. And I kind of thought going into the show, this is going to be my only chance. So I was really thrilled when they played pretty much everything I could have wanted to hear. Because I'm like, all right, this is probably going to be it. I'm probably not going to see them again. So this was a fuck of a one time. If I would have walked away going, I wish they would have played this, this, and this, I still would have enjoyed the show. I still would have been stoked. And I still would have been like, well, I got to see them. That's the most important part. But they played everything I wanted to hear. So I was pretty thrilled about that. If you're not familiar with the Misfits, start with the track Bullitt. Take it from there. See if anything speaks to you. All right. So Caitlin Johnstone has some opinions on the debates, the second debate, and she thinks that Kamala Harris actually won. Here's the headline: Kamala Harris is everything the establishment wants in a politician, which is very true. And here's some of Caitlin's pros. Caitlin makes me laugh. I think she's very funny. I think people often forget about that part about her, that she's very, very funny. Or not forget about it, but it's like, it's something people don't mention all the time. But her pros are actually really, really funny. And that's one of the things I really appreciate about her a lot. California Senator Kamala Harris won the Democratic presidential debate Thursday night. It was not a close contest. Now, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say she won per se. I think it's hard to say that there is a straight-up winner. I will say the biggest loser in night two, Joe Biden. Joe Biden got his head handed to him time and time again. And one of the reasons where I can see one would say Kamala Harris, it was the winner. And again, this is speaking strictly from debate standpoints. Kamala Harris had some very strong moments in there, but it was just rhetoric. A lot of the stuff Kamala Harris was saying, if you look at her record, as I said in the news and poem from last week, her words do not match her actions. And that was the case in this debate. For anyone that knew anything about her, they knew she was just straight up lying pretty much the entire time. For somebody who doesn't know anything about her, and this was just their first exposure to her, they might come off thinking she's a great candidate. And of course, she raised her hand for Medicare for All, but again, she's already backpedaled on that. You cannot trust her at all when it comes to Medicare for All. She has backpedaled so many times. She courts the private insurance industries. Here in California, when she could have done something for Medicare for All, she did absolutely nothing. She was completely silent, still remains that way. So, from a strict debate standpoint, and yes, I had to wipe a little bit of cat hair out of my eye. It's summertime. Somebody's shedding a bunch. A bunch. She's shedding a ton. I brush her all the time, but it's summertime. It doesn't matter. She's a black cat. This is Southern California. She's Sheddy Magoo. I'm talking about you. I'm calling you Sheddy Magoo. Are you mad, bro? She's so adorable. So anyway, here's why I think Biden... So Biden got his head handed to him multiple times by almost everyone on that stage. And Kamala Harris, of course, had that moment that was very theatrical, yes. But still, it's going to give her some sound bites. So Joe Biden, if you notice, was actually straight up playing the sympathy card. That's what Joe Biden was reduced to. I call that the John McCain method of debating. Do you guys remember in 2008 where eventually John McCain just got to this point where he wanted people to just feel sympathy for him? He's like, I know you guys want your cool hip president that uses a computer. I get it. Joe Biden's already playing that game. Whenever they would ask Joe Biden a question, he had this look on his face like he was just asking for directions to the grocery store and he was very confused as to where it was. Like, I just gotta get eggs or my wife's gonna be mad. That's the look he had on his face. And it was on purpose. Don't be fooled by this. Joe Biden wanted to play that. Oh, he didn't understand the question a couple times. He wanted to praise Obama every opportunity he could because he wanted you to remember him as just friendly, fun Uncle Joe. Because remember, as vice president, he was pretty much silent on everything. So people created this character of him that was very likable. And it was fake. It was just made up. He wants to coast on that character. Because when you actually look into him, you find out this guy's been on the wrong side of the fence for 40 fucking years. War after war after war, issue after issue after issue. And he was unmasked a lot in that debate, to the point where all he could do was try to play the sympathy card. Oh, feel bad for me. I'm just friendly old Uncle Joe. I don't know anything about the crimes bill. I don't know anything about segregationist. I don't know anything about the Patriot Act. I don't know anything about the Iraq War. Come on. I'm just that friendly guy who was the wise old man behind Obama who you liked. You liked Obama, right? Joe Biden's already playing that sympathy card. It's the John McCain method of debate. And what does that mean? That means he's done. That means he's over. And if somehow the establishment is able to tip the scale to the point where they end up successfully shoving Joe Biden down our throats, I don't think they're going to be able to at this point. But if they are somehow able to, and they do, Joe Biden will get trounced by Trump. It won't even be a contest. It won't even be a contest. And when that, and don't blame progressives when it happens. Because that guy, I mean, he just has nothing to offer, and it's painfully obvious. And Kamala Harris had her moment where she handed him his head. Bernie had some moments at him too. So I can see how one would conclude that Kamala Harris won that debate, because she came off looking way better compared to Joe Biden, and now she is the establishment's chosen one. You know, first, Beto was the chosen one. Then that didn't work out. So Kamala was the chosen one. Well, that didn't work out. People didn't catch on to Kamala right away. Buttigieg was the chosen one. That didn't catch either. Biden was the chosen one. Wise old Biden. He's the front runner by name recognition. Well, now he is sinking like the Titanic, so they got to kind of recycle the chosen ones. So Kamala's the establishment's chosen one right now. Because again, strictly speaking from a debate standpoint, she did a very good job. It was just rhetoric. It wasn't sincere. Lucy's like, it wasn't sincere. She wants me to pet her. She's like, you can pet me and talk at the same time. You can pet me and talk. I don't. All right, just let me move the computer back a little. I'm not going to stop petting you. There you go. I just got to be able to get to some stuff, Luce. So anyway, there's some pros from Caitlin Johnstone. And here is a little more election news. And I found this pretty interesting. Republicans start donating to Marianne Williamson to keep her in future Democratic debates. Author Marianne Williamson's quirky love conquers all approach on the Democratic debate stage Thursday grew applause, ridicule, and confusion. On Friday, she was attracting donations from Republicans. GOP strategist Jeff Rowe, who ran Texas Senator Ted Cruz's 2016 presidential campaign, tweeted out to his 16,000 followers asking fellow Republicans to donate $1 to keep this vibrant Democrat on the debate stage. One debate performance is not enough. Okay, Jeff, here's something I got for you, Jeff. All right, look. First of all, I actually think Marianne Williams had a pretty good showing at the debates. I thought she had a pretty good showing. There's a lot that I disagree with her on, or at least a couple things. You know, based on her interview on the Jimmy Dore Show, I disagree with her attitude about Medicare for All. She's not for it, and I disagree with her when it comes to her take on Julian Assange. But I thought she did a pretty good job in the debates. She has her lane, so to speak. She has her area where she knows a lot, and she offers that different perspective. I thought she did a good job. I'd like to see her in future debates for those reasons. And Jeff, let's get over yourself a little bit, buddy. Okay, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Democrats aren't a freaking clown car right now. They are. Beto O'Rourke humiliated himself. Joe Biden humiliated himself. Even Pete Buttigieg, he had some horrible moments. A lot of them had some horrible moments in that debate. You know, whenever a bunch of candidates are talking over each other, that's what an actual narcissist circle jerk is, by the way. That's what that is. That is a dictionary definition, narcissist circle jerk. So that's what happened in all those debates. But, Jeff, we all remember the GOP clown car of 2016. We don't forget that, buddy. How about that moment where Jeb Bush pretty much started crying on stage? Oh, and Jeff, who did you work for? You worked for Ted Cruz, the guy that was completely humiliated in the 26, who took insult after insult from Donald Trump and then worked for him right after. And currently doesn't have anybody who loves him enough to tell him to get rid of that fucking beard. So, Jeff, let's not throw stones from that glass Goldman Sachs sponsored house. All right, buddy? Yeah, the Democrats are a shit show. The Republicans are a shit show, too. And Marianne Williamson actually did a pretty okay job in those debates, I thought. So, oh, and by the way, pick the lesser of two evils shit show. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. And I hope that she does find her way to future debates. So, take that, Jeff. Meow! Lucy says meow. But you know, even though the corporate duopoly is a total shit show, is there some commonality that we do have? Well, this article from the Boston Globe points to a very unlikely combination from some very unlikely people. How vague was that intro? In an astonishing turn, George Soros and Charles Koch team up to end U.S.'s forever war policy. Soros and Koch. Besides being billionaires and spending much of their fortunes to promote pet causes, that's one way to put it, according to this article, the leftist financier George Soros and the right-wing Koch brothers have little in common. They could be seen as polar opposites, blah, 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 blah. But they have something that they agree on. The United States must end its forever war and adopt an entirely new foreign policy. In one of the most remarkable partnerships in modern American political history, Soros and Charles Koch, the more active of the two brothers, are joining to finance a new foreign policy think tank in Washington. It will promote an approach to the world based on diplomacy and restraint rather than threats, sanctions, and bombing. That's an unlikely duo. That is certainly an unlikely duo. Soros and Koch, and the Koch brothers doing anything positive is a very unlikely thing as well. The Koch brothers are usually funding think tanks to try to dismantle any type of progressive policy. They're usually funding think tanks to try to dismantle any type of transportation that would help the people. You know, I used to live in Nashville, Tennessee. There was an opportunity for Nashville because their population was growing, significantly growing. There was an opportunity for Nashville to get this program called the AMP, which would have solved a lot of their transportation issues and giving them a really good public transportation situation. They denied the AMP largely because of a propaganda campaign funded by the Koch brothers. Why did the Koch brothers bother to fund a campaign in Nashville, Tennessee, against a transportation solution for the city? Because oil and gas money, they do that all across the country. That's what the Koch brothers do. So is it good that maybe some of the corporate left and right are uniting on opposing war? Certainly. And I think looking at it from the broader picture, that is some commonalities that some people on the left and right do have. Progressives and libertarians, for instance. And there have been tons of discussions about this. But progressives and libertarians, that's one thing that we have in common. We want to end the wars. Something that progressives and that's why, you know, Ralph Nader and Ron Paul have had discussions about this. And it's kind of like the question remains, well, where else do we have some commonalities? That's a pretty big commonality to have, wanting to end the wars. So, you know, getting it back to this particular, for instance, of the Koch brothers and Soros, you know, when these billionaire players are involved, my advice is proceed with caution. Okay, it's cool that this think tank has a cool mission statement. We're committed to diplomacy and ending the wars and not seeking out new wars, but proceed with caution because of the players involved. It could turn out that this think tank isn't what it says it is. Right now, it's in its infancy. We'll watch it unfold. So I would say, well, this could be something good, but let's proceed with caution. All right, speaking of caution, holy shit, something crazy happened in the climate today. And now we're going to go down to Mexico. And what's going on in Mexico? Here's what's going on in Mexico. Mexico hail. Ice 1.5 meters thick. Carpets Guadalajara. Check this out. And this is from 2 hours ago. This is breaking. Look at that. That's in Guadalajara. 6 suburbs in the Mexican city of Guadalajara were carpeted in a thick layer of ice after a heavy hailstorm. So that ice is 5 feet thick. Half burying vehicles. Look at this. Look at this. Lucy, look at it. Aren't you stoked? Or not stoked. You know what I mean. Stoked wasn't the right word to use there. But, you know. Civil protection machinery was deployed to clear the streets. And this is a city of 5 million, located north of the capital, Mexico City. That dude's riding his bike. Hey, kudos to this guy. You know, I gotta say, that's making lemonade out of the situation, isn't it? He's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna ride my bike. It's like in some of those mountain towns that are kind of remote and off the grid, where it's like whenever they get a big snowfall, they're just like, everybody just cross-country skis to the nearest pub. The one big pub in town is open, you cross-country ski there, and you drink until you can do other shit. In some ways, it's an attractive way of life. Like going to one of those mountain towns and just being completely off the grid. I've thought about it before, I'm sure we all have. Just being totally just off the grid. And whenever you just get a big snowfall, life just goes on hold. You're just like, all right, fuck it. We're just slowing down for a little while. But anyway, let's get back to what's going on in Mexico here. So the city has been basking in temperatures of more than 30 degrees Celsius, and it has been hit by hailstorms before, but seldom this heavy. All right, so what causes a hailstorm? Hailstorms form when warm, moist air from the surface rises upwards, forming showers and storms. Temperatures higher up, even in the summer, can get well below 0 degrees Celsius, and so ice crystals form along with something called supercooled water. And then that grows into pellets of ice. In warmer parts of the years, such as in Guadalajara, which has maximum temperatures of around 30 to 32 degrees Celsius in June, more moisture is available, contributing to the formation of hailstorms. So the authorities say 200 homes have been damaged, which sucks, and dozens of vehicles swept away in the city and surrounding districts. As of the recording of this, though, the most important thing here is there have been no injuries. So as of the recording of this, and this story is unfolding, it's about 2 hours old, but there have not been any recorded injuries yet. So hopefully that continues. So here's what State Governor Enrique Alfaro has to say. We ask ourselves if climate change is real. These are never before seen natural phenomena. According to BBC Weather, the hail probably melted on contact due to high temperatures, forming a layer of water upon which more of hail could land and float. The combination of water and hail likely moved down slope, with obstacles such as buildings blocking the flow and allowing more ice to accumulate. The actual hailstorms were relatively small, less than 1 centimeter in diameter, and nothing like the golf ball-sized hail seen at times in severe storms in the U.S. So in other words, nothing like this has ever happened before to this magnitude. This is the first, look at this. This is June. This is June. So according to the governor, nothing of this magnitude has ever happened before. This is a record. And this is going on in Guadalajara right now. Right now. There's the dude riding his bike. That's a guy I'd like to have a beer with. That guy, hell yeah. That dude's just like, I got my bike, and he's got like a little knapsack looking thing there. I don't know what, maybe that has food or something. Maybe some of his favorite records. I don't know. So a never before seen phenomena. We are witnessing it right now. And I'm not just talking about the dude riding his bike. I'm talking about the storm itself. So that's breaking in Mexico City, or around Mexico City. And hopefully, again, as of the recording of this, there have been no injuries. Hopefully that stays the case. It sucks that property is damaged. Of course, that's terrible. People's homes are being damaged. Vehicles are being damaged. That's horrible. That sucks. But the most important thing is that nobody gets hurt or killed. So and I'm not trying to make light of, people's homes being damaged. Of course, that's horrible. But, at the end of the day, when something like this happens and it's terrible, stuff is replaceable, lives are not. So hopefully we continue with that 0 injuries, because that's the most important thing. So that's happening in Mexico right now. We'll watch it unfold as the day goes on. All right. And there's some more stuff happening in regards to climate change in another part of the world. I know, Lucy, right? Right, Lucy? And this is going to take us... uh-oh. What's going on here? Oh, I see. All right. I'm sorry. I didn't copy and paste the link correctly. All right. Here we go. We're going to go to France now. Riot police tear gas climate protesters at point blank range. So this is over in France, and this happened this past weekend. Here's some photos from that. Look at how dangerous these people look, sitting there on the ground. Very dangerous. I can see why the police had to tear gas them immediately. Look at that. Dangerously sitting. Look, that guy is dangerously raising his leg to avoid being tear gassed. And I bet his foot hates freedom. Freedom fries. French CRS riot police remove French youth and environmental activists as they block a bridge during a demonstration to urge world leaders to act against climate change. Paris police tear gas protesters staging a sit-in to demand action on climate change at point-blank range Friday, on a day when temperatures in France topped 110 degrees. The protesters belong to the group Extinction Rebellion, XR for short. XR first made headlines in the UK in April when it shut down major streets around London for more than a week to demand a response to global warming. XR groups have organized across Europe since then, using civil disobedience to try to push lawmakers to respond to the threat of climate change. And, just so you know, unnecessary force not unique to the U.S. They can do it in France, too. Tear gassing people. Tear gassing people who say, hey, we want to stay on this planet. We don't want our stay on this planet to end. We have to do something. We had to do something yesterday. And they're urging Macron to act. They're urging Macron to act more swiftly. He's throwing the verbiage out there that he's concerned about climate change. It's a big concern that he wants to talk about in agreements. But the actions aren't quite there. And the actions need to be swift. And we're far behind schedule. And that's what Extinction Rebellion is yelling at the top of their lungs. And Lucy's paying attention. Lucy perked up there. She's like, what's Extinction Rebellion up to? We got to do something about climate change. I want to shed less. I don't think we can do anything about that, Lucy. Unfortunately. You're still going to shed. No matter what happens, there's still going to be a summer. And you're still going to shed. She's purring. She's purring right now. Which is nice. All right, so let's see if there's anything more of this article. Here's some photos from it. Look at this. I mean, look at that. They're just pummeling them with tear gas. The protesters gassed in Paris on Friday have reportedly blockaded the Sully Bridge, a major crossing of the Seine River not far from Notre Dame. Pictures and video of the police's action quickly spread. That's like right on one person's head. That's like right on one person's head. Ugh. That's what you do to people peacefully protesting. Just pummel them with tear gas. Pummel them with tear gas. Too bad. I mean, and that's because they were in a hot place. You know, if they would have been in a cold place like Dapple, then you pummel them with freezing cold water. Pummel them with freezing cold water and freezing cold temperatures. That's what you do there. But, you know, they were in a hot place, so they got the tear gas. It's a grab bag of what you might get. So Extinction Rebellion yelling about what's going on in regards to climate change, and they're greeted with brutality. That's called shooting the messenger, if I've ever heard it. Big time. So let's end on something a little bit uplifting, because Long Beach brings us a little bit of good news here. And this is going to take us to the U.S. So we were just in Mexico. We were just in Paris. You go around the world with Get Your News On with Ron. In Mexico, they're seeing crazy-ass fucking hail. Crazy-ass fucking hail in Mexico, because something's going on with the goddamn climate. And in France, they're yelling about it and saying, we got to do something here. And the police are saying, we're going to tear gas that. Well, let's go to the U.S., where we actually have something a little uplifting here to end on something kind of positive. Now, I was surprised when I heard this. And it was a pleasant surprise. So let's go to it. For the first time, the U.S. got more electricity from renewables than coal. 22% of the electricity generated in the U.S. in April came from renewable sources, compared to 20% from coal. Okay, so it's not a big difference yet, but hey, got to start somewhere. Historically low prices for renewables are driving the shift, with seasonal factors also playing a role. Coal is increasingly a money loser, with more than 50 plants closing in the last 3 years. So coal's a money loser. Lucy moved, by the way. Coal's a money loser. You know what else is a money loser? Fracking. We did that article last week about how a CEO, an oil CEO, admitted that fracking was bullshit. Just admitted it. Was just like, fracking is bullshit. There is no financial incentive for it for anyone except for the people at the very top. This was a CEO saying that they're losing money. And the CEO didn't even touch on the environmental consequences. Just focused on the business ones. So there's no justification for what we're doing. None at all. And now they're admitting that coal is going the way of the buffalo, because we need to change the way we do things when it comes to our energy. And for the first time, renewables beat out coal. Should have happened a long time ago, but hell, we'll take some uplifting news where we can get it, and that is some uplifting news. Renewables beating coal. Coal failed. It's over. Whenever someone tries to make the economic argument to you, it's over. It's over. It's done. Oil and gas, it's over. It's time to get off fossil fuels completely. It's time to invest in green energy, time to invest in green jobs, time to invest in infrastructure, which, by the way, would give us a jobs guarantee. So now you're doing a lot for climate change, and you're doing a lot for jobs in this country. And you can do that around the world. So there we go. This is a little bit of good news. Still not where we need to be. But hey, at least we're making some progress. And this needs to continue, and it needs to be amplified by 100. It needs to go to 11 to get into Spinal Tap. Our amplifiers are turned up to about a 3 right now, which is better than a 0, but we got to turn them up to 11. Let's turn the amplifiers up to frickin' 11. And the clip there, Joe. All right. Thank you guys for the Super Chat contributions. I'm going to the chat now, and that's where we're on the show today. Action for Assange. Don't forget hashtag candles for Assange. Julian's birthday is July 3rd. I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing that information. Local fireworks shows are great places to pass out candles and flyers. July 4th should equal Free Speech Birthday. Thank you for that, Action for Assange. And that's really cool, and that's kind of sad as well, because I doubt Julian Assange will be having a good birthday. But thank you for sharing that information. I appreciate that very much. Over the Road Trucker, my hometown, Steamboat Springs, Colorado, got 2 feet of snow June 21st of this year. Climate change is real, and it's not playing around. Amen to that. Thank you very much for the Super Chat contribution. Let's see what else. Evan Clayson recommends CBD in my coffee. It's not in there. But you know, I'm not going to say that's not a bad idea. Extinction Rebellion Human says tear gas used after the cop fell down trying to remove protester. Okay. And I know we've been having lagging issues. I am trying to get this fixed, and hopefully, this is gonna be the last day. Um, I'm getting my internet changed literally today. So hopefully that fixes everything. But I'm working on that, and I might be using a new service soon. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Karen, check out the Mr. Tony Tig song. Send it to me. Email to me. And then we'll look at it for a song of the day. Again, remember, song of the day, Bullitt by the Misfits. Because I saw them. It's Music Monday. Saw the Misfits this weekend. If you get a chance to go see them, if you're a Misfits fan, do not miss it. Go see them. Let's see. But, and Mo Mooney reminds us coal burning accounts for 20% of CO2. And yeah. All right, guys, we are out of time. Tour dates, I got them. Progressive Comedy Tour is going on the road. July 27th, we're going to Vegas. Vegas, baby. Tickets for that show are available now. September 5th, we're going to be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. September 6th, Madison, Wisconsin. September 7th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Yeah. So that's going to be fun. Get your tickets at ronplacone.com. And we might be coming to Australia. Keep your fingers crossed, but we might be coming down under, and we're pretty stoked for that. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album, and you help me expand the show. I want to do more streams. I want to upgrade stuff. I want to start fixing some of the streaming problems we've been having. I also... we had Shahid Buttar on Friday. We did a special interview Friday. I want to do more of that stuff. So if you are so able, if you are interested, patreon.com/ronplacone. You get all kinds of cool stuff, and it's for a Give What You Can level. And please do like and share these videos. Make sure you're subscribed. And when you watch these videos, have a separate player going that lets all the ads play through. Don't just do that for me. Do that for all the content creators you know and love, because that helps sustains our channel. We're out of time. Lucy bailed at the last minute. She's on the floor now. Miriam, yes, September 7th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. September 7th. You can get tickets at ronplacone.com. Grab them. Mo Mooney, thank you very much for that. Happy birthday, Canada. Our neighbor to the north, or my neighbor to, I know some of you guys are all over the world. I can't speak for everyone here, but, my neighbor to the north, because I live in the United States. Happy birthday, Canada. It's Canada's birthday. Happy birthday, Canada. Vancouver, one of my favorite cities, although I love all the Canadian cities I've been to. Toronto's great. I've not been to Montreal, but I've heard it's great. And I've been to Niagara Falls before. Been to Victoria, beautiful Victoria. But Vancouver really has a special place in my heart. So have a beer in Vancouver for me, or wherever else. Happy birthday, Canada. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. You know what that means. You guys send me the articles. That's how we build the show. We had some breaking news today from Guadalajara. They're experiencing never-before-seen hailstorms in June. Holy shit. And we talked about it here on this show. We were in Guadalajara. We were in France. We were in the United States. Right on. And we ended in Canada. Happy birthday, Canada. Guys, this has been Get Your News On with Ron. You know the drill. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.